What's up YouTube? I'm David Warren and welcome back to this week's video. Today I'm going to be doing a product review of a company called Lecturio. And Lecturio is an online learning-based service that offers services for nursing students and medical students. And I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about both sides of that today. If you're new here to this channel, consider subscribing. I am a nurse practitioner and I'm currently in CRNA school studying to be a certified registered nurse anesthetist. I'm in my second quarter. Things are starting to ramp up and get kind of tough. But today, I'm going to take a little time out and talk to you about this cool product that I think you will really enjoy, especially if you are in nursing school, in nurse practitioner school, in PA school, or in medical school. This is an online learning-based service and it's called Lecturio. Basically, you can go to their website, create an account, you can get a free trial. Ultimately, you have to pay for a subscription, and it is a wealth of information. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the nursing side and the NP side, and maybe touch on the PA side as well, and then we'll talk a little bit about the medical side too. So the good thing is, in nursing school, everybody takes the same exam at the end. Everybody, at least in the United States, you're all going to take the NCLEX, and that's your licensing exam to become a registered nurse and to become licensed as a registered nurse in whatever state you're going to practice in. And so wherever you go to nursing school, of course, there are going to be different methods of teaching. You're going to run into different professors, different ways of learning the material, but ultimately they're all preparing you to take the NCLEX because that's what you have to pass to be a registered nurse. And so the cool thing about Lecturio is it takes these very difficult concepts, things that you learn in nursing school. And I don't know if you ran into this or if you're into this right now, but when I was in nursing school, my professors seemed to take all of these wild, hard concepts and make them even harder. And the cool thing is Lecturio actually takes those concepts, breaks them down, and gives you the bare bones, what you need to know to pass the NCLEX. And that's a really cool feature. Lecturio was not around when I was in nursing school, but I really wish it were, because I would have signed up the day I entered nursing school. There is such a wealth of information on this website, really in regards to anything nursing, anything NCLEX related, skills, lecture topics, basic sciences, physiology, anatomy, chemistry, really anything you need to know about being a nurse and about passing the NCLEX, it's going to be there. And I really wish I had the opportunity to sign up for it. I've had a chance over the past couple of months to really browse the website, look through some of the videos, look through the content they offer, and I would say it's really on point. I would say if you're a nursing student, it would probably be worth signing up for because, again, your professors are going to teach you what they want you to know about their exams. But ultimately, whenever you get to the end of the program, you're going to have to take the NCLEX and you're going to have to pass the NCLEX to be a registered nurse. And so for me personally, if I were doing this, I would get Lecturio whenever I was studying for NCLEX. Now, that's not to say that it wouldn't be useful in nursing school, because I think it would. There are challenging topics that are in the nursing curriculum that, especially as, not being someone in healthcare and going through an initial licensure program, it's going to be challenging to grasp some of that information. And so Lecturio does a really good job, like I said earlier, of breaking down some of these really intense subjects into what you need to know, the bare bones. And so I think it could be helpful in nursing school, but I think it's even more helpful whenever you're studying for NCLEX. The cool thing is you can go through topic-based learning, you can answer questions as you go, you can create mock exams. It offers spaced repetition, which is huge. That means you're not just studying one thing for 3 days at a time and then letting it go and then never touching it again. You're studying something for a few hours at a time, a day or so at a time. You're skipping a couple days, studying something else, but then you're coming back to the topics that you studied before. And that's called spaced repetition. And that's huge because that is an evidence-based way to study. Now that I'm in CRNA school, I've really looked into these evidence-based study methods, and spaced repetition is huge. You can't just look at something for an hour or two and then, wait for 2 weeks when your test is and expect to know it. You have to space out your learning. So wait a day or so, come back to the material and study it again. That's what solidifies it in your brain. And Lecturio offers that. They offer practice questions, they offer spaced repetition, and they offer really cool videos that explain some of these challenging concepts. So it's not like you're just reading a textbook, you're actually watching somebody lecture for a few minutes at a time, write things out, and show you exactly what they're talking about. And that's one of the really cool things about Lecturio and the nursing side. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the NP and the PA side. So they do offer some of these programs for NPs and PAs as well, which again is really cool. And for an NP and a PA, depending on what NP specialty you're in, you're going to be taking roughly the same exam. For FNP, there are a couple different certification exams, but you're going to be taking a standardized certification exam. Same with physician assistant. You're going to be taking the physician assistant certifying examination to get your certification as a PA. And so the Lecturio material that is geared towards that is really helpful at helping you know the information to pass boards, to pass your certification exam, to get your license. And so they break it up by section. You can break it up by GI, cardio, respiratory, or you can do like anatomy and physiology and some of the more basic sciences, things like that. And it offers, again, some quizzes and some practice, some practice exams that you can take to quiz yourself on the material that you're learning. And so that's one of the cool features of Lecturio. On the medicine side, they offer pre-medicine preparation, so MCAT tutoring, and then once you're in medical school, obviously the same type of thing on the nursing side, but it's on the medical side. So you'll get those informative physiology videos, clinical medicine videos. For me, now that I'm in anesthesia school, they don't have a CRNA path on Lecturio. However, some of the material is still there. They have an anesthesia pathway on the medical side, so you can watch anesthesia videos. I actually watched a few anesthesia videos regarding volatile anesthetics and like intubation and airway management for one of my tests. It was helpful. It broke down the concepts, and I feel like in lecture, or at least in class, like the professors really like go into all these, details that you probably don't even need to know. But in Lecturio, they like really break it down into the fundamental things that you need to know. They like cut out the fluff and give you the actual information that you need to know to pass the certification exam or to pass your exam, which I think is like really cool in general. So again, they don't have a CRNA side, which I think is a bit of a downfall, but they're not that, in comparison to nurses, PAs, and NPs, there's not that many CRNAs. There is anesthesia material on there. So if you're in CRNA school, it might be worth it because there's good anesthesia material on the medicine side. On the pre-medicine side, like I said earlier, there's MCAT preparation. On your basic sciences, there's statistics, physiology, anatomy, biology, chemistry, biochemistry, organic chemistry, those type of things, physics, those types of things that you need to know to be successful in your MCAT preparation. And so I think that's one of the cool sides to it as well. So I'm going to put a link below. It is my personal link that you can buy a subscription to Lecturio for either a month or a year. My coupon code is DavidWarren20. I've got it written down here, so I don't forget what it is. DavidWarren20. You can do 1 month for $14.99 a month at an intro cost, or you can do 1 year for $99.99 for a year subscription. You can also get like a free trial of this as well if you just want to check it out, see what it's about, and then if you like it, you can buy a subscription. If you don't, then don't worry about it. So without further ado, I'm going to jump onto my computer and I'm going to browse around on Lecturio, and I'll show you guys kind of what I'm talking about. So let's jump over to the computer and I'll show you what the website looks like. All right, guys, we are live on my desktop now. I am going to show you through the Lecturio website. So this is what you're going to get whenever you first log in or whenever you first go to their website. And so if you scroll down, they obviously have a little bit of a sale going on here. So 20% off of plans for Nurses Week. Happy Nurses Week, by the way, if you're a nurse or if you are considering becoming a nurse or if you're a nurse practitioner, whatever flavor you are, happy Nurses Week. So as you can see here, there's a medical side and a nursing side. I'm not sure what the faculty side is all about, but again, the medical side for physicians, PA, pre-med, nursing sides for RN and NP. The medical side, again, offers something for PA as well. So for PA and NP, it's there. It's just it's under different sides there. Anyway, you're going to log in here, or you're going to go and get your subscription. You can go to your pricing and get that there. I've already logged in, so I'm just going to go to continue here. So after you have your subscription, or after you get your trial version, when you log in, this is what you're going to be met with. And so this is like your page that comes up. Last, I was browsing under the physician assistant part here, so you can see videos for the PA side there for the pants. However, you can go over here either to the medical side or the nursing side. We're going to kind of punch through the nursing side first. So these are two separate things that you have to purchase. You don't get both of them. So you'll get one or the other. For the nursing side, you can see here, you can go to Study Planner and you can really set out what you want to do. And so you can go to like videos and you can go through these videos that they have set out. So let's just say we want to look at some pharmacology. And so we click on nursing pharmacology here and you can add this to your planner. And so whenever you do that, you want to set a date that you want this to become due, meaning you want to set a date that you want to go through all of this stuff. And so let's say by next Monday, the 16th is when I want to have this done. And I want to study for how many days per week? Let's study for 4 days per week. That means I'm going to have to study for 8 hours and 38 minutes per day. Let's say I want to study for 7 days a week, 5 hours. If I want to study 1 day a week, 21 hours, yeah, that's not going to work. So let's just set a reasonable time, 5 days a week, 7 hours a day. That's actually, I feel like, pretty reasonable. And so this is what you want to do. You just want to go in order, and it really goes in order from like start to finish. And so you don't want to do like antiviral medications before you really go over pharmacology and implications for nursing. Like for pharmacology here, I'm sure it's going to go over the like 5 rights of administration, pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, the different methods of administration. And so you can see it's really broken down by category. And so all of the videos are roughly 5 to 10, maybe 15 minutes long. And so this would be like the first pharmacology one. So you really want to go here and click play, and it's like almost like a YouTube video. And so again, that would be like the first video that you would watch in the pharmacology playlist. And then your learning objectives are over here as to what you want to know by the end of this. So define pharmacology, identify 3 characteristics that a drug should ideally have, etc. And then throughout this, you're also going to get quizzed. And so after you finish the video, you can click start quiz. And then this is like the first question that will pop up. What is the science that deals with the preparation, use, and effect of drugs? And so that's what you would do. I haven't gone through this, but I'm going to say pharmacology is probably the right answer. And I'm going to be confident and say yes. And that's right. Okay, cool. So then you can go to next. What is the main goal of pharmacology? Achieve affordability of all drugs, produce drugs with no adverse effects or interactions. You can see what the answers are. I'm not going to read them to you. I would think the last one's probably the right answer. Obtain the maximum benefit with a minimum harm to the client. I'm going to be pretty confident in that. And of course it's right. And so you can see down here, it says correct, learned for 4 days. And so the cool thing about this is you'll get spaced repetition. So if you're going through these and you like don't know, I'm just going to like guess on a few of these. I'm just going to say, all right, I know that's probably going to be wrong. So, that was correct. I have no idea. I was trying to miss one. Anyway, I got all that correct, but let's say you like miss one. Let me go back to quiz again here. So the first answer to this was pharmacology. Let's say pharmacokinetics. So so you missed that one right there, or I missed that one. The answer is pharmacology. So what will happen is with spaced repetition, you will be presented with this question again in a few days. And so the idea is whenever you learn this, you're like, okay, I see why it's pharmacology now. Whenever you learn this, then you will be presented with this material again in a few days to make sure you're still grasping the material. And so that's kind of how Lecturio works. You can go through these different subsets. So like we just did pharmacology, there is a big like NCLEX review. So you can go to the NCLEX pharmacology review, or you can go to physiology, and you can again add to planner. You want this due by the end of the month, so May 31st, and you want to study 5 days a week. Okay, it's going to be 1 hour and 22 minutes each day. And so you go through here, introduction to human physiology. You're going to start at the top and really work your way down. Once you've finished this here, then you can go to the quiz and take your quizzes, and then you can go back to the next section. So that's a little bit about how Lecturio works. You can also go to Question Bank and you can create a test, which for me is super helpful. When I went to the anesthesia one, I created custom tests and went through tests to practice for my actual exam. So you can go to create a custom test, and then you can click on like whatever you want to know. You can obviously click, let's see here. There should be a way to, I haven't figured that out yet. There you go. So you can click this here to unselect, everything's going to be selected. You can click that to unselect what you want, and then you can say, okay, I want to test over pharmacology, and then you can uncheck that. Let's say I just really want to practice like renal and respiratory, and then there are a max of 38 questions available, so you can click start test, and then your test will load. And the cool thing about that is this looks very similar to what the NCLEX or what a standardized test is actually going to look like. And so whenever you get ready to take your NCLEX or whatever test you're going to be taking, this is probably what you're going to be presented with. Like it's going to look something like this here. And so, and then you just start answering the question. When caring for a client with allergic rhinitis, the nurse would anticipate the use of medications to treat which symptoms. So you would go through and like select all that apply and answer, what the correct ones are. So that's one of my favorite aspects of it is the test bank, is you can really create like really any kind of test you want, create a custom test. And then with spaced repetition, again, these are going to be the questions that you've missed. And so whenever you're going through, the questions that you miss are all going to pop up in here, and you're going to be presented with those questions again. And so at 7 days, 30 days, and 90 days, you're going to be presented with those questions a multitude of times, so you can really space out your learning of that material. And then you can go to performance, and you can see kind of how you're doing overall, and what you've accomplished. So that's a little bit about the nursing side that I think is really cool. I'm going to switch over to the medical side and kind of show you that as well, if you're interested in that side of it. So when you get to the medical side, you can go to the study planner again, and that's where you would select like topics that you're wanting to do and the date that you're wanting them done by, and it'll give you a time frame for how long you need to study. And then when you go to videos, you can select up here. This is the cool part. You can select like what you want to look at. And so, let's say you're studying for step 1 in medical school. And so you can go through, and really, I think honestly, like if you're in NP school, this is probably going to be the side for you. The nursing side is really geared towards an RN. The medical side is really geared towards the physician. So I would say, or physician and advanced practice provider. So I would say if you're in NP school and you're considering this, or CRNA school, get the medical side, because that's where you're going to be getting a lot of the medical aspect and not the nursing aspect. And so let's say you want to go look through biochemistry. So you can click on biochemistry here, add it to your planner. I want it to be done by, let's say, June 30th. And then I'm going to study for 4 days a week. So I'm going to study roughly an hour a day to get through biochemistry. And so you can go through, let's start here with biochemistry basics. And you've got obviously a whole lot of stuff to watch there. So we can start with like the introduction to biochemistry. And again, it's going to be a video, and it really talks about the introduction to biochemistry. And you see here what your learning objectives are, and you can go ahead and start the quiz again. Which of the following is the smallest unit of classification in the living world? So kings play chess on fat green stools. That's how I learned it in undergrad biology. Kingdom, what is it? Kings play kingdom, phylum, genus, species, order, or something like that. I can't remember. Kings play chess on fat green stools. That's what I remember. So anyway, you can go through the biochemistry like that, or whatever topic you've learned, and then you can go to the quiz and see like what quiz it, or what you can quiz yourself over. Obviously there's quite a bit going on there. So and then with concept pages, this is another cool thing. It doesn't have this on every one of them, but on some of the concept pages you can look through like these concept maps that they have laid out. So you can go like to the basics of carbohydrates, and they really lay out this like really cool concept map, for lack of better terms. And it gives you just the like basics, just what you need to know to pass that exam or to know that material. And then after you're done with that, you can test yourself on it. And so this is USMLE step 1. Obviously their questions are a little bit longer than the NCLEX side. But that's what the medical side of Lecturio looks like. I also want to quickly show you the NP side. So again, you're under step 1 here. Go down to nursing and NP, and then you can look through really whatever area you want. I think the physical exam side is pretty cool because it gives you like live actual details. Because I remember when I was in NP school and you're trying to learn all of these musculoskeletal exams that make Murray tests and all the other, like, I've already forgotten half of them because I don't use them, all the musculoskeletal tests, and like everyone's got a random name. And so you can go to like, let's say examination of the upper extremities. And let's say I want to review rotator cuff test. And this is really cool because it will like walk you through with a patient what the tests look like. And so like you can walk through these videos and it'll show you like the tests you need to know to test for like a rotator cuff tear. And then your learning objectives are here. And then you can also test yourself afterwards. So what are the 4 muscles of the rotator cuff? And so you would go through here and answer the question based on what the 4 muscles are. And let's say you're just gonna like randomly pick one and get it wrong. And so then this would show up under your spaced repetition. So that's a cool thing about that. That's a little bit about Lecturio. There are lots of things on here. You can take notes within here. Whenever you're like watching a video, you can jot some notes down that would show up under your notes section. I personally think the question bank is really cool because the best way to test your learning is to test yourself, answer some practice questions. And so the test part is probably one of my favorite features of it. So that's a little bit about Lecturio. I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you're new here, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.